Hi besties! Let's talk about compound interest and how it can make you a millionaire. So what does compound interest even mean? It's the interest that you earn on both your principal or your initial deposit and the interest that's already accrued. Basically, it allows you to grow a small investment into a much larger amount over time. As you can see on this graph, the amount of interest you receive, represented by green, grows exponentially over time. The longer it's in there, the more it grows. I'm gonna give you the formula so you can figure it out old school if you want, but there are compound interest calculators everywhere for you to use as well. So A is the final amount, which is equal to P, which is the initial principal balance, times 1 plus R, which is the interest rate, over N, which is the number of times interest is applied per time period, all raised to the NT power, which is the number of times interest is applied per time period times the number of time periods elapsed. In contrast, this is the equation for simple interest. Way simpler, right? It's because we don't have to calculate the compounding interest. Okay, let's use real numbers to compare compound interest to simple interest. This is gonna blow your mind. Since A is the final amount, we're gonna solve for A. But I know not everybody's familiar with PEMDAS, so I'm just gonna use a compound interest calculator. I'm gonna use this one since it's a government website and they would never lie to us, right? Okay, let's say our initial principal balance is $1,000 just to keep the numbers round. Now for interest rate, savings accounts are between 5 and 7%. However, as of December 31st, 2020, the trailing 10 years of the S&P 500 showed compound rates of return at a whopping 13.8%. So since I want to get the most for my money, I'm going to stick with the S&P 500. For compound frequency, you can do annually, semi-annually, quarterly, monthly, or daily, and I want to go with monthly. And let's say this is over 30 years. So just putting $1,000 in there one time, after 30 years, you would have made $60,335.55. Insane, right? So let's have a look at the simple interest calculator to contrast what we learned about compound interest. We're keeping everything else the same, $1,000 investment, 13.8% interest rate over 30 years, and wow, what a vast difference. As you can see, you've only been making $138 per month on your $1,000 investment, regardless of the amount of interest you've accrued. So you've only made $4,140 this time. Thanks, I hate it. Okay, so I think it's safe to say we should stick with compound interest, right? So that was only a one-time deposit. You put the $1,000 in there, you forget about it for 30 years, you end up with $60K. Now, let's see what you can do with monthly deposits. So we'll start with the same $1,000, but let's say you add $20 to it every month for 30 years. So you can see that your total contributions were only $8,200, but you've made $166,269.69. Nice. It's because of that interest that's compounding every month on top of your additional contributions. So what does that tell us? It's never too early to start investing. It doesn't matter the dollar amount, just put what you can in there. As you just saw, even if it's $20 a month, it'll grow to something much more substantial over time. But even if you're older, it's not too late, so don't write it off. You just have to get a little bit more aggressive with your contributions. Okay, I promised to tell you how you can become a millionaire with $200, so let's get to it. All right, we're gonna stick with the assumption that you're gonna be saving for 30 years before you retire. So this can be done in less time, obviously, you're just gonna have to contribute more. So we're gonna say you picked up a side hustle, you're making an extra couple $100 a month, so we're gonna put $200 in to start, $200 a month for 30 years, and since S&P has such a high rate of return, we're gonna put our money there. And bam, you're a millionaire, 30 years. Look at that curve. You've only contributed $73,000, but because of compound interest, you're a millionaire. So, okay, is it a get-rich-quick scheme? No. You're gonna have to wait. It only pays off after it's been in there for quite some time, right? But it's definitely something that you should prioritize, especially if the other option is just simple interest in a savings account. The most important thing you should take away is that you should start as early as possible. Whatever you can spare will make a big difference down the road. The longer you're doing it, the more time that money will have to compound that interest, which means you can start with smaller amounts of money now. If you didn't start young, that's okay too. As I said, you just have to get a little bit more aggressive with your deposits. So start now, right now. After the video. Start after the video. Next, shop around for interest rates. If you think you can get a higher interest rate somewhere else, go for it. 100%, don't let me stop you. I just wanted to give you the option to look at the S&P 500 because I know a lot of people may not consider that initially. If you need help choosing a trading platform, check out this video. I go over the pros and cons of the most commonly used ones out there. So index funds and ETFs tend to have a much higher rate of return than 401ks. But if that's what you have available, use it, especially if your employer is matching your contributions. Take advantage of that. It's free money. Finally, this isn't something that you should dip into. It's not a rainy day fund because it doesn't work properly if you continue to take money out of it. You just need to deposit your money and forget about it until you retire. Okay, that's all. Check out this video if you want more help choosing an investment account, and this video if you want to know the difference between index funds and ETFs. Love you, bye!